Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here with you, even with our technical difficulties right at the moment, to address whatever topics you might like to discuss, and whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. We are here because God is concerned about that which concerns you. 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, is brought to you by Fiji Water. You may already know that Fiji Water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock. The water collects in a natural artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is Earth's finest water. And so I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, we opened with a little bit of technical difficulty, and I have to say to all of you, thank you for your continued support and for tuning in every day. 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. As you know, we are Facebook Live, we are YouTube Live, so all of our broadcasts are not only archived for 365 days on our app at New Life Delaware, but now also on YouTube. So I want to take a moment to say thank you to all of our listeners and viewers who continue giving on the Give segment of our app at New Life Delaware to support the broadcast. There's a lot of infrastructure cost involved in what we're doing to address whatever topics you might like to discuss. So you can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families, dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart and whatever's on your mind, you can call every day now on the T-Mobile call and text line at 267-992-1424. And you can call between 12:30 p.m. and 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time every single day now. So we are here with you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. So I'm going to begin with addressing a communication from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you want to know how you can improve your self-care. So, I see this from numerous listeners and viewers, many listeners and viewers who really want to talk about self-care. And one of the things that I encourage people to do is to really begin meditating. So let me start with the simple things, okay? Meditating at the beginning of the day or even at some point during the day for 30 minutes. So, there's a scripture that tells us that all of heaven went silent for 30 minutes. So we need to be aware how important it is to have some quiet and some peaceful quiet. Let me add that into the equation. But we have to make certain that every single day we take 30 minutes out of our day. Now, some people tell me that they struggle with meditating for 30 minutes because many of you have heard me talk about this previously, that they struggle with meditating for 30 minutes daily. If you're not there, if you're not right at that place where you can sit for 30 minutes and just meditate, turn off your mind, and listen to what the Spirit of God will speak to you. If you're not there, try doing 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the afternoon, and 10 minutes in the evening. That way at least you get to 30 minutes in. And then eventually what will happen is you'll be able to go to doing 15 minutes in the morning and another 15 minutes later in the afternoon. But you've got to make certain that you really take the time out to meditate. We all have to do that if we're really going to focus on self-care. And then the other thing is take time out to pray. Part of the problem with us is that we often only want to pray when we need God to do something for us. We only take the time out to pray when we need God to do something in our lives. But the reality is that's not going to enhance the relationship that we must have with God. So we've got to recognize the importance of taking time out every single day and being prayerful. Now, the Bible tells us to pray without ceasing, but at least take time out. Pray in the morning. Take time out during the day to pray. You've got to, for those who commute, normally you have windshield time. So I'm not telling you to close your eyes and pray, but you can pray with your eyes open. It's just you communicating with God to enhance your relationship with God. And so take time out during the day to pray. And if you're not commuting to work right now because you're working from home, then just pause during the day, maybe after one conference call or before a conference call, because you don't know what you're going to have to deal with when you get on the call. Take time out and just pray. Ask God to give you the spirit of articulation where you can communicate with your colleagues in an effective and efficient way. Take time out to pray after your conference calls to just give God thanks for getting you through another meeting and being able to be an asset added value to your company. Just take time out to pray. And then here's the other thing. You've got to get some exercise in. You've got to make certain that if nothing else, you take the time out to walk. If you're a runner, get yourself out and get a run in. You've got to make certain that we've got to make certain that our body, mind, and spirit. And so everyone knows that the first Thursday of every month, we have our contributor with us who is a licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist. So we're focused on making certain that we are whole in our body, mind, and spirit. So your body is going to be good eating habits, good nutrition. Your mind is going to be meditation and prayer. Your body is also going to be exercise and prayer and reading the Word of God, because it's a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our path, is going to keep our spirit right. So let me just start with those simple things. And then you can do some other things to stimulate your mind. So, I've used this example before and I'll use it again, I'm sure, over the years to come. For example, here in Delaware, we're located in Delaware. And when you're a Delaware resident, at the age of 60, I believe it is, you can begin taking courses at the University of Delaware, free of charge, as a resident in the state of Delaware. Now, I don't know about some of the other states that you're in, but look at the universities in your area and find out if there's courses that you can take even free of charge so that you can stimulate your mind, keep our mind sharp. We want to be life learners. We want to make certain that we are maximizing our potential. We want to make certain that we're maximizing every opportunity, and we want to experience the fullness of God and eventually maximize the fullness of God. So those things have to be important to you. And I know I've shared this previously on the broadcast, but I keep getting, particularly in this pandemic, this period of the pandemic that we're in, I'm getting a lot of communications about people being interested in self-care. How can they care for themselves properly to ensure that we're the best version of ourselves that we can possibly become? You've all heard me talk about becoming the best version of ourselves that we can possibly become. And so I've been getting a lot of communications back from people who have been watching the broadcast and have been, asking about self-care, and I am really focused on helping people to maintain self-care, and that's body, mind, and spirit. So we really have to focus on becoming the best version of ourselves that we can possibly become. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest nationwide 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, You can call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you over into our queue so that you can experience T-Mobile, America's largest nationwide 5G provider, at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill. And if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a monthly discount at T-Mobile, America's largest nationwide 5G provider, at no extra charge. And so I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, we are now Facebook Live, we are now YouTube Live, and we want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel at 3D Daily Divine Direction Broadcast. Pardon me, 3D Daily Divine Direction. You don't have to add the broadcast. 3D Daily Divine Direction Broadcast. 3D Daily Divine Direction. So you're going to subscribe to our channel, right? You're going to like the broadcast, and you're going to set an alert so that you are alerted every time the broadcast goes live. And of course, you know we are with you Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted, to address whatever topics you might like to discuss, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. So you can also call every day now, or you can communicate with us because we are YouTube Live. We're not just on YouTube, we are YouTube Live every single day, live streaming right here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction Broadcast. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have been watching the broadcast for some time. You have decided to really achieve more success. And you know, you want to know, how do you go about achieving more success? And so what I'm going to say to you is, because you want to take more responsibility for your own success, because you want to take more responsibility for your success, you've got to make certain that every single day that you are prioritizing your success. That has to be a priority. So, you know, part of that, you all heard me address smarter goals, and I got a lot of emails yesterday because being off the air yesterday due to another conflict in schedule. I had a bit of a emergency yesterday, so I was off the air yesterday. But I got a lot of emails about the segment on smarter goals. So as you take responsibility, you've got to make certain that, first of all, you have an accountability partner. And secondly, you have to make certain that you are really focused on smarter goals. That you really identify specifically what you want to accomplish. See, it's real easy to say, I want to be successful. But then we have to work hard to become successful. And then we have to work twice as hard to maintain the success that we accomplish. So you've got to be real specific about what you want to accomplish. And then you have to make certain that you are really measuring your outcomes. That you're measuring the outcomes of the goals that you have set. Now, you've already identified that you've really focused your direction towards being successful. You know that it's achievable. It's eluded you. You didn't tell me this in your communication, so let me just get to this. Success has eluded you to date because you recognize that you haven't been responsible. And let me say, now that you have identified that you can achieve more success, you have to focus on that daily. So you know it's achievable. So not yesterday, but when I talked about making certain that your goals are relevant and that they're time-based. So you've all heard me talk about a 7-year plan, 14-year plan, and a 21-year plan. And for those of you now who are going to be going back and looking at YouTube, and those of you that are going to be encouraging your family and friends to go and watch it on YouTube and on our app, and if they don't have our app, they can download it at New Life Delaware. The reality is that every one of us has to set time deadlines for every single thing. And then we have to go back and evaluate. We have to make certain that we're achieving what we want to accomplish in what I call self-imposed timelines, self-imposed deadline. You don't wait for someone else to set deadlines for you. When you're responsible for your success, you are setting deadlines and you're working to accomplish them in an appropriate period of time. But then you have to go back and evaluate what you've done and what you've accomplished. And then you have to make revisions or readjust. So that's what Smarter Goals are all about. So all of you have, heard me a couple of days ago address that, to a listener and viewer who was concerned about the coming year and how do you plan when you're in the midst of a pandemic. I remember that. And so I addressed that. But now you're talking about career success, and you've got to take responsibility and this is for all of our listeners and viewers. You have to take responsibility for your success. God is always going to do his part, but each and every one of us have to be willing to take responsibility for our own success. We have to be responsible enough to say, I know what I'm competent to achieve. I'm willing to work every day diligently until I accomplish my goals. That's really part of the recipe for success. So some of you have heard me say this before. My grandfather, when I was probably 12 years old, told me that 2 of the keys to success were longevity, consistency, and longevity. 2 of the keys. Over the course of life, one of the things that I now understand is that there are more keys to success than the 2 that he gave me. And one of them is accountability. So one of the keys is accountability. And we have to make a conscious decision that we're going to be accountable for what we want to accomplish. God's always going to do his part. So God's going to give you the strength to get up every day and perform, but not just to perform in a way that you satisfy those who might scrutinize your performance, but that you perform at the highest level possible. He's going to give you the strength to do that. And he's going to continue to give you a sound mind, which power and a sound mind, so that you can be competent in everything that's assigned to you to perform. So let's start there. And then God's going to bless your work, the work of your hands, according to your measure of faith, first of all, and then according to your ways. So we have to understand that, because he gives to every man, woman, and child according to their measure of faith, but then he rewards us according to our ways. We reap the benefits of that according to our ways. So we have to be willing to really put the work in to perform at the highest level. So I want to go there, and I want to take everyone there. because this is going to be real important as we wrap up this year. We want to finish the year strong. We want to make certain that we are becoming the best version of ourselves, but that we then perform as the best version of ourselves that we can possibly perform. So let me tell everyone what that looks like, because it's real important that we expound on this. It's real important that we are getting enough rest, that we are, as I talked to the last listener and viewer about, making certain that we are whole in body, mind, and spirit. And then we have to make certain that we are being informed, that we're constantly developing professionally, and that we are implementing a high level of performance. All of the skills that we have, the skill sets that we have, that we are working to maximize our success. Every single day, every hour of the day, we're working to maximize our success. And so what does that look like? So simple steps that we can take. So in our careers, you've all heard me say you're not working for the job you have, you're working for the job you desire to accomplish. So I always tell people, pull your job description and do your job description every single day. And then pull the job description of the job that you desire and work at that level. Work at the level above where you are. If you don't work at the level above where you are now, you'll always be at the level you are on right now. We have to work for the level above us. You know, that I remember when they came out with the term level up, and it meant something to most people who really want to be successful and who really want to succeed. A lot of people, it was just another cliche. We come up with a lot of catchy cliches. When I say level up, it means to work at the next level. Don't work just for the level that you're on. So we should always be making, listen, it's one thing to make progress, it's another thing to make progress work for our success. And what that means is that we should be progressing for the purpose of succeeding at another level. We want to make certain that every single day is committed, that our behavior demonstrates our commitment. Another key to success, that our behavior demonstrates our commitment to being successful. So there's a significant amount of work and responsibility that comes with being successful, and most people don't want to put that in. So I'm excited for you. I'm excited about your life, that you have decided, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, because we want a place that everyone can hear from God. This is what this is about, is that everyone can hear from God to address whatever topics you might like to discuss, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. Whatever they may be, we're here because God is concerned about that which concerns you. So I say to all of our listeners and viewers, let's finish this year strong, and let's be prepared to go into the new year, and let's not wait until the new year comes upon us before we start preparing. We want to prepare for the rest of this quarter, for the success that's going to come, the next level of success that's going to come in the coming year. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. If you're in any of those areas, stop in at your retail stores. At their retail stores, they have everything a man could possibly need. They have suits for men, ties for men, shirts for men, and accessories. You can order from Charles Tarrant if you're not in any of those areas at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door. And right now you can order 4 high-quality shirts from Charles Tarrant for $199 at ctshirts.com. And The White Company, located in located in London, the UK. And they also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. If you're in New York, stop in at the retail stores. They have everything that you could possibly need. Home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. At The White Company. If you're not in New York, you can order from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. So I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are considering going into business and you want to know if the business is going to be successful because of what we're facing right now in the time that we're in. So let me begin by saying this. You know your competencies and you know your work ethic. You've got to make certain that you have a clear and concise business plan. You have to make certain that you are prepared to go into business properly funded, not underfunded. You need to make certain that you have a good implementation strategy. You need to sit down with advisors who, when I say advisors, your legal advisor, your attorney, your accountant, your banker. People who are going to be able to give you good, sound advice, good, sound strategy for moving forward. And once all of that is completed, we cannot allow the pandemic to prevent us from making progress. We have to be cautious. We have to take the appropriate measures to ensure that we're safe and well, meaning we have to make certain that with a brick and mortar location, for example, that people who come into your brick and mortar location are required to wear a mask. Hopefully they're wearing gloves. When I leave the house, I make sure I have a mask and a pair of clear gloves. And the reason is because I want to make certain that not only I remain safe and well, but that others remain safe and well. So we have to take the necessary precautions. But now, having said all of that, if you know you have a good, sound business plan, and you know that you are competent and prepared to operate your business, don't be afraid to go into business thinking that because there's a pandemic, it may fail. Make certain before you open your brick and mortar location, make certain that you have your online presence secured and that it is ready to be optimized, that you are ready to generate revenue from both sources, from brick and mortar and from online presence, that you're ready to be an entrepreneur, a business owner, and that you're ready for that business to be successful. If you take all of those necessary steps and do everything that you know that God has prepared you to do, there's no reason for you not to go into business in the coming year. Do not launch in this quarter, but go into business in the coming year. This segment of the broadcast, today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast, is brought to you by